Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you my top 3 sunscreens that I recommend for using under makeup. So these sunscreens will not only contain great ingredients and effectively protect your skin from UVB and UVA damage, but they also are particularly good at functioning well, getting along well with makeup. So if you're curious about my top 3 picks, then keep watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel by hitting that red subscribe button. Follow Allure Beauty on Instagram. And if you haven't checked out the latest video, I will link that in the upper right-hand corner for you to watch. It's this month's What's New in Beauty video. We have a lot of fun things, plus some skincare and makeup from BTS. So if any of those things interest you, then make sure you go check that video out. All right, let's get to revealing what my top 3 picks are. So first I want to let you know what kind of skin I have so that you know what perspective I'm coming from. I have normal combination skin, so I definitely struggle with keeping that shine at bay throughout the day. But I've chosen 3 sunscreens that I think will work for every single different type of skin type. So even if you have drier skin or you have very normal skin, there is going to be at least one of these in the 3 that I will show you that will work for you. The second thing I want to let you know is what skincare routine I have before I apply these sunscreens. Again, just for your background information so that you can gauge maybe whether something will work differently for you depending on what skincare you put on your skin before you apply sunscreen. Now, sunscreen should be the last step of your skincare routine before you apply makeup. And I have been starting with this new product. This is by Primera, and they were kind enough to send this along. They are available on Sephora, and they have a lot of clean beauty on their clean skincare. This is the Miracle Seed Essence, and it comes with 70 cotton pads. They're natural cotton pads. You get a large bottle. This is 5 fluid ounces. It is a very heavy glass bottle. Even the packaging itself is made with the planet in mind. It is eco packaging made with sustainably sourced FSC certified forest paper and soy ink. And I use this as the first step in my skincare to bring hydration back right after I cleanse my skin and to kind of prep it for the thicker ingredients and skincare that I'm going to put on top of it. And I love this toner because it is lightweight, but also very hydrating. It feels beautiful on the skin, and it includes great ingredients, things like niacinamide, glycerin, citric acid, and the key ingredient, lotus seed extract. It doesn't have any harsh ingredients in here. It doesn't have any fragrance or alcohol, which it's pretty hard to find toners that don't include those irritating ingredients. So that is the #1 reason I am loving this toner lately. The natural cotton pads are also a very nice touch. They are very soft on the skin, but to be honest, I used to always use cotton pads to apply my toner, but in the past 6 months or so, I have started to simply dispense my primers onto my hands and pat them into the skin. I find that that saves you a lot of product, and it avoids a lot of that liquid just sinking in and staying in the cotton pad as opposed to actually getting onto your skin. And for the next step, I have been using these 2 products by Skinfix. This is from the Barrier Plus line, again, also available at Sephora, and they were also nice enough to send these along. And I in particular like these because they are perfect for the summertime. They are very lightweight while also still being hydrating, and of course they contain great ingredients too. So let's start with the Barrier Plus Lipid-Boost Jelly Super Hydrating Serum. I love this packaging. I think my main criticism is that you can tell from holding the packaging that it's just a regular tube inside. So this excess packaging that like kind of bloats out here is excessive. It doesn't need to be this way, but that's pretty much the only criticism I have. The product itself is a very lightweight cream. I would characterize it almost more like a gel cream texture. It feels very plumping on the skin without being heavy or slick. And of course, the most important part, which are the ingredients. You get great things like jojoba oil, macadamia seed oil, glycerin, soybean seed extract, squalane, sodium hyaluronate, rosemary leaf extract, sunflower extract, aloe leaf juice. So once again, chock full of great ingredients in this one. And then for a little extra boost, you have the Barrier Plus Lipid-Boost 360 Eye Healthy Eye Treatment. Once again, love this packaging. And you get that pump dispenser Now, this is very similar in texture to the serum. It's just slightly thicker, which I appreciate because I do use this exclusively under my eyes, and that area needs, for me, a lot more moisture, whereas the rest of my skin may be shiny or oily. The under eye area for me is very dry. So I really like the way this moisturizes and hydrates and preps my skin so that my under eye concealer doesn't look cakey or dry. And again, great ingredients. We have glycerin, jojoba oil, macadamia seed oil, rosemary leaf extract, sunflower extract, alfalfa seed extract, aloe leaf juice, squalane, citric acid, and more. So this combo has been great for me during the hot weather. All right, so what are my top 3 picks for sunscreens that work really well under makeup? And the things that I pay attention to and I find important when making this kind of decision are things like, does the sunscreen make my makeup wear off a lot more quickly? Does the sunscreen make my makeup pill or look uneven or streaky? And does the sunscreen interfere with the color of my makeup? A lot of sunscreens have a noticeable white cast to them, and those I find do not work well under makeup because they make me look even more pale than I already am. Now, what's interesting is there are a ton of very innovative sunscreens, but they're not really accessible in the US at the moment. I'm really hoping that that changes. There are some really cool new technology-based sunscreens that are available in European countries, but that are not accessible to you. Even online, I've tried to search for them, see how I can buy them online. Even then, it is very difficult to get those kinds of sunscreens. If you do live in Europe or some Asian countries and you have access to those markets, I would recommend going and checking out Gothamista. She has really, really good sunscreen and just in general skincare recommendations. But for me, because my audience is mainly in the United States and Canada, and I personally can't get access to those sunscreens, I am focusing on things that you can easily access internationally too, but also in the United States and Northern America. So I'm going to go in order of level of SPF. So starting with SPF 30, this is probably my #1 recommendation. It is from Paula's Choice. It is from their Resist line. This is the Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense. Now, this is the old packaging. I'm still finishing up the very, very last of this. This is what it looks like in the new packaging. Same formula, it's just the packaging that's different. This retails for $33 and you get 2 fluid ounces. What's wonderful about this sunscreen is that it not only gives you effective sun protection, but in addition, there are antioxidants included, just really good skin beneficial ingredients that are added. So it's not just a sunscreen, it's also skincare for you. Now, in terms of the texture, this has a very, very lightweight cream or lotion kind of feel. It is not heavy, it is not greasy, it glides over the skin, and it has a slight tint to it so you don't get any sort of white cast. Now, of course, if you have extremely deep skin tone, maybe this will look ashy on you. If I have any viewers that have tried this and you do have deep skin tone, please let me know in the comments below what your experience is. But I think for any range except for maybe deep to very deep skin tones, this is perfect for combating that white cast. And this leaves a very natural, I would say natural matte finish. It is not completely anti-reflective, but it does give you a little bit of mattifying of the skin while also giving your skin moisture. So this formula I think will work for any type of skin. Obviously, if you're extremely dry, like you really have cracked lips, you have extremely dry skin, you will need something much more hydrating and occlusive. But save for that, if you have normal skin, if you have slightly dry skin, if you have combination or even oily skin, this is a fantastic formula for you. And the active ingredient in here is zinc oxide, 13%. The second, which is SPF 40, comes from Supergoop. This is the Smooth and Poreless 100% Mineral Matte Screen. And this has zinc oxide 17% and titanium dioxide 0.7%. This retails for $38 and you get 1.5 fluid ounces. So it's definitely more expensive per ounce than the one from Paula's Choice. This also has some nice skincare benefits. It has argan oil in it, there's some vitamin E, and there's also resveratrol. In terms of formula, this comes out as almost like a moussey texture, and it has a bit of a slip to it, which is why I think this will be great for people in particular who have oily or combination skin, because it does have a nice mattifying effect. So it definitely will mute out a bit of that shine that you may naturally have on your skin, and it just really feels kind of like a primer. Again, it has a very lightweight texture. There's no greasiness or oiliness to its feel. You'll see here in the clips me applying each of these sunscreens, and on my right side, probably your left on the screen, I applied the Paula's Choice sunscreen, and on my left side, or your right side, I applied the Supergoop matte sunscreen. And this also has a tint to it. So again, it has absolutely no white cast. Now, of course, if you are super pale or if you have super deep skin, you may run into the same problems with it showing up just because of the contrast. But otherwise, this is very flexible in terms of not really giving your skin any color, but combating any sort of white cast. So hopefully you can see how these both apply and what the finish looks like on my skin. And then in testing all of these, I kept things all the same. I applied for my foundation, my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. This is the shade Golden Beige. And I wore this throughout the day without any sort of additional makeup. I did not powder my face. I didn't add any sort of concealer. And I did not blot my face throughout the day. So when I checked in around the 3 or 4 hour mark, and then around the 6 or 7 hour mark. And as you can see from the first shot, you can see how it wears, how the makeup looks over top. And by the 6 or 7 hour mark, you can see that there is definitely shininess showing through, some oiliness. So these are not cures for shininess for the entire day. The mattifying effect is definitely temporary and shorter term. And I do find that comparatively, the Paula's Choice one allows my makeup to look the same for longer. I do notice that when I use the Supergoop one, I do see a little bit more breaking up of my makeup at the end of the day. I don't think it's anything super noticeable, and I think it may also be cured by any sort of setting powder that you use or if you blot during the day. Of course, the advantage of the Supergoop one over the Paula's Choice is the additional SPF you're getting. And my third recommendation is from Klairs. Now, this is an Asian brand, but it's easily accessible to you even if you live in the United States or in a country that is not an Asian country, because you can very easily purchase this through Yes Style. And of course, for all of these, I'll put links in the description box below to where you can purchase and find them. This is called the Soft Airy UV Essence Everyday Sun Protector. And this has an SPF of 50, and in addition, it is PA++++. And this retails for only $23, and you get 2.7 fluid ounces. So it is the least amount of money per ounce out of all three of these. Oh, this brand, now that I look closer, is actually called Dear Klairs, not just Klairs. This also does have some beneficial skincare ingredients. It has glycerin, niacinamide, sea buckthorn oil. Now, the last ingredient is orange oil, which concerned me a little bit because a lot of citrus oils are photosensitizing, but it is the very last ingredient, and I don't detect any sort of strong fragrance or scent to this. So I don't think that there should be any sort of serious risk of that ingredient causing any sort of reaction under the sun. Gothamista also mentioned this in her video, one of her videos, talking about some of her favorite sunscreens, and she said it was sweet orange oil, which is apparently not supposed to be photosensitizing. So overall, I'm not too concerned about that very last ingredient in here. If it were something like bitter orange extract, I would be very concerned about it. Now, in terms of texture, this is a very unique product because it has a gel consistency. So although this has no tint added to it, it leaves absolutely no white cast, but it also has the most lightweight texture to it. And funny enough, even though this is a gel as opposed to a lotion, I also find that this is the most moisturizing of the three that I've shown you. So I think this would be a great pick if you have more normal to dry skin. I followed the same skincare steps before applying this to my skin, and this time I put it all over because I didn't have to divide it between this one and another sunscreen to test it for you. Applied the same Wet n Wild foundation, and again, I didn't use any sort of setting powder, and I did not blot throughout the day. I just completely left it alone. For all of these tests, the day was very hot, so I was, kind of perspiring and sweating throughout the day. And with the Dear Klairs sunscreen, you can kind of tell, I think it looks a little more shiny by the end of the day, but I still did not see any sort of significant breaking up or breaking down of the makeup that I had applied on top. So those are the sunscreens that I think work best under makeup. If you have any additional recommendations for this specific purpose, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. And if you have used any of these three sunscreens, or after watching this video go out and test them, please share with me what your thoughts are and what your experiences are. I hope that you liked this video and that it was helpful for you. Please give it a thumbs up if you have a couple of seconds. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.